We're gonna talk about all the stuff that they announced, all the new games announcements, all the everything they announced, the reveals, the trailers. There wasn't so much of gameplay in this award show, which was a disappointment. However, there was Divinity, and that was the whole fuss about the mystery statue. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, mystery statues TGA 2025. I think at this point everyone should know what I'm talking about, but this whole thingy. This statue was kind of the talk of the town for a whole week or so. So this statue popped up in the middle of a desert, and Jeff Keighley tweeted it, and everyone was talking about it. Turns out it was a Divinity game announcement, and they announced that game, and yeah, it was a crazy trailer. It was a crazy trailer. I actually posted my live reaction to the trailer on my YouTube channel if you do want to check it out. But when I saw that trailer, I was absolutely appalled by it. It was disgusting. But it's Larian Studios. As soon as the Larian Studios logo popped out, I was like, okay, all right. So this gotta be it. And they did show the statue in the game. I was just trying to show, but I can't really show it because it's age restricted. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. That is age restricted. It was so gross. It was so gross, and it had some pretty spicy scenes as well, subtly, but it was there. Thank you, Boss Riley. I will definitely check out your Twitch profile, my man. Anyway, yeah, the Divinity is revealed, and it's a thing, and we just gotta have to. I personally haven't played any of the Divinity games, but I did play Baldur's Gate 3, which was amazing. I really did like Baldur's Gate 3. One of the best. I mean, rightfully one of the biggest and best games, narratively speaking. The gameplay is a bit of an acquired taste, but narratively speaking, one of the best I have played. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna bring to the Divinity franchise from Larian Studios. Another highlight for me was the Star Wars games. I did not expect to see two Star Wars games popping up in the Game Awards. Star Wars, we had a huge couple of years for Star Wars, so having seen Old Republic game coming back to spotlight, which is awesome. And as soon as I was like, oh, is that like another trailer for Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet? Because at the time I had no idea what this was. I was like, what is this? And then I saw ships. It got the whole Star Wars vibe, the mood to it. So still I wasn't quite sure. And then you saw that engine. I was like, oh, okay, that looks like a Star Wars ship engine. Oh, who is that? That's very Star Warsy. That's very Star Warsy at this point. But I mean, there's no context, there's no gameplay, so that's kind of disappointing. I was hoping to see some gameplay trailers, but for all the most hype trailers that we got, announcements we got in Game Awards, there it is. That's it. Fate of the Old Republic. And Casey Hudson. Casey Hudson is coming back to direct the next game. He directed KOTOR, and he's back to direct the Fate of the Old Republic, which is the new game. And we're also getting a KOTOR remake as well, which is awesome. So I don't know when it's coming, but it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be absolutely huge. What other games do I play? I play a lot of games. These days, almost all of my time is consumed by pretty much Battlefield. If I'm not playing Battlefield 6, mostly story focused single player games, I did enjoy a whole lot of Ghost of Yotei. Currently, I'm playing Where Winds Meet, which is quite nice. I love Assassin's Creed games. Battlefield 2042 was not my favorite, unfortunately, Boss Riley. Um, so, oh, Kid Nick, thanks for the follow. Thank you very much. But yeah, 2042 was a disaster. I'm telling you. But Battlefield 6 is amazing. It's really, really good. We got a whole band back together, back into Battlefield 6 after such a long time. It feels nice. It feels very nice. But 2042, I did not play a whole lot because it was quite bad. It was quite bad. Anyway, what I wanted to tell you is I'm very hyped that Casey Hudson is developing Star Wars: The Fate of the Old Republic, which is coming to PC and also consoles, and it is going to be the spiritual successor to Knights of the Old Republic, which is, I mean, it's the best kind of news there can be, right? The best kind of news there can be. And Wario64, he had posted this pretty much right after the Game Awards, and it said Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic may not release until 2030. And last night's biggest surprise was Star Wars Old Republic, blah blah blah. Yeah, he's saying that it's not gonna be coming to probably even PlayStation 6. Probably it'll be like a PlayStation 7 game, which is crazy to me. Which is crazy. Finally had a chance to sit down and watch a live stream. Oh, thank you, Kid Nick. I really appreciate you coming down. PlayStation 7. I don't think if this was gonna be a PlayStation 7 game, they would have announced it so early in the marketing cycle. It just wouldn't have made sense. So I don't think I agree. But then I think just yesterday or something, Casey Hudson, the game director who's working on the Star Wars game, Star Wars Fate of the Republic game, tweeted, and he said, let's see if I can, Casey Hudson, there you go. I think he said, don't worry about the not till 2030 rumors. Game will be out before then. I'm not getting any younger. So there you go. He has gone and confirmed that it's not gonna be 2030. It's gonna be coming out soon. So I reckon this is probably gonna be mostly late 2027 game, because if you look at, you know, how early games usually get announced, especially like the big games, how early they get announced, it's usually like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 years before they come out, right? Hugo Boza, thanks for the follow, my friend. I'm really happy about Star Wars: The Fate of the Republic. It's been such a long time since we had a KOTOR game. We're getting KOTOR remake as well, which is awesome. I'm down for that as well. Noted on that, Hugo. Noted. I think we're getting a whole bunch of Star Wars game. We're getting maybe like a EA Star Wars game in the works. Maybe like one of the Jedi games coming too, I think. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the Galactic Racer. That's another game that immediately hooked me because, my God, I don't know how old you guys are, but when I was a kid, I used to play a lot of Star Wars racer games. This is the trailer, by the way. This is the trailer from the Game Awards. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, so that's definitely a Star Wars game. And I had to...
Lightning fast.
I wasn't sure. And then I saw the pod. I was like,
we're incredible. Best of the best.
That looks incredible indeed. And Lucasfilm, obviously. Gotta be a Star Wars game.
United by one beautiful dream.
This had me so hyped because I feel like this is one of those games that should have received a remake a long time ago. Because it's such a fun thing. Like, racing pods is such a fun thing to do. And they had a pod racer back in the day. Hang on. I have it right here. Anyway, this looks incredible. This is what I'm talking about. Look at this. I don't know if you remember this. This looks so old now. Wow, that has not aged well. I used to play this game for hours at a time. You know, so many hours at a time, and used to have so much fun with it. And you could play co-op with this game, like couch co-op. So I used to play this with my brother, sometimes with my friends, and it was amazing. It was the most fun you can have, and set in Star Wars universe back in the day. Back in the day. And I always thought, why the hell have we not received a remake or a sequel to this? Because this was so fun. Mind you, the controls were a little janky back in the day. If you play this now, you probably wouldn't have as much fun now. But this was a lot of fun back in the day. It was 100% one of the best Star Wars games at the time. So I'm happy that they're receiving a spiritual successor to it. This was called Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. What we're getting is called Star Wars Galactic Racer. So I'm assuming it's gonna have like all these maps, like iconic maps with all these massive starships crashed around and different planets and everything just pulled from every episode. It's not like restricted to just one episode or two. It'll be like iconic places from the whole saga, which is amazing. Like racing around in those areas, which is such a fun thing to do. So very cool, very cool. Imagine like doing like a like a pod racer in like, you know, the Death Star or something. That would be cool. But yeah, and yeah, just, you know, racing around in the Star Destroyers, and that would be really, really cool. So I'm really, really hyped for that. Yeah. Anyway, what else have we got? We got Diablo 4, Lord of Hatred expansion arriving next spring. Dude, Diablo 4. Diablo is not the kind of game that I would play, to be honest with you. But when I saw the trailer, I was like, you know, this looks badass. This looks super badass, you know. I mean, if you
Every celebration of hubris,
Blizzard, if they can do anything, they know how to make a trailer really, really well, you know.
executives,
Where am I in the world? That is a good question. I'm in Melbourne, bro.
death, decapitation.
I am located in Melbourne, Australia.
No better.
It's 7:55 p.m. here.
You've corrupted
What about
more
you?
minds than even I can imagine. Oh, if it isn't Jeff
And
Keighley, creator
yeah,
of this crucible of
this is pretty cool.
impressive.
And but yeah, I don't think I'll play it. Oh, you're Sydney based. Cool. Very nice, very nice.
Lord of hatred, and you
Fellow Sydney. I got a few mates in Sydney. I actually came down like last year or something. I haven't been back to Sydney in a while, but man, are you guys okay? It's kind of crazy up there. We've heard the whole thing with Bondi Beach. Pretty crazy. God damn. Don't know what's going on there. Pretty crazy. Yeah. Now I would assume it's still going on, and everyone seems to be kind of on edge about the whole thing. So I hope you guys are okay over there, man. Even down here, everyone's kind of tensed up and like kind of afraid to just really go to public places now. So I don't know what's happening. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about any political stuff, so I'm not gonna get into that. But I hope you're okay, man. Hope you're okay. But anyway, getting back to this Diablo 4, I really thought the trailer was badass. This trailer was super badass. But I think it looks like they're trying to evolve the whole franchise a little bit further than what they have been doing. So we could probably expect significant changes in the next. Like this scene, dude. It's just ripping him through the sword. that was so bad at, and like all the other demons were like, damn dude, like what the hell, just take a break. Like that was hilarious, but it was pretty badass. And him being the Diablo, that's crazy. Like he's the devil. That's crazy. Oh damn, really? Okay. That sucks, man. That's kind of terrifying, actually. Kind of fitting. We're talking about Diablo over here. But yeah, if you're a fan of the game, you would probably be so hyped, and I was hyped to see the trailer, and it looks fantastic. So that's I think that was one of the highlights. But the biggest highlight for me was the Tomb Raider games. We got not one, but two trailers. I mean, if you go back and watch my co-stream of the Game Awards, I didn't even realize that I was watching two trailers. I was like, they first revealed Tomb Raider Catalyst, which is going to be the next new game in the Tomb Raider franchise, and it looks like super good. It was just a teaser trailer. I was like, oh yeah, cool. Just a nice little trailer. And then it just continued on to like more like stuff. So I thought they were just like, it's like an extended look of the game. And then the end thing, the end title card rolled out, and it was like Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. And I was like, holy shit, that's a remake of the first game. So I'm like, dude, we're getting two games? That's crazy. I think that was like a huge surprise for me. I didn't expect to see two. I thought we were gonna see like a new Tomb Raider game, because we knew that Crystal Dynamics was working on a game. Even though they recently had faced some layoffs. Sorry.
The entire world knows your.
Sorry about that. But yeah, the Eidos Montreal had some recent layoffs, and they expected to make more layoffs in the studios. I'm not sure if Crystal Dynamics has been affected by that, but they're going through a bit of a rough patch. So I was skeptical whether we can actually see a Tomb Raider game from the studio. But then they went ahead and announced two games, which is fantastic. Fantastic. And this is the new game trailer that we're looking at here. 17 plus mature audience. Which tells me we're gonna see some really cool shit in this game. So this is what they showed first, and this already looks fantastic. And I really love the new Tomb Raider Lara Croft look. And I think they're going with like the stealth mechanics as well a little bit,
must come to an end.
like they did with Tomb Raider Shadows. What are my thoughts on the new James Bond game? Oh dude, I think it looks fantastic. I actually talked extensively about 007 First Light in my channel, but man, I think it looks very promising, Kid Nick. I think 007 is one of those games that could really be like one of the biggest games of the year, or it could just be like a very mediocre, but it looks promising because it's been made by IOI Interactive, which made Hitman games, and they kind of know what they're doing. Especially if you look at the deep dive that they released couple of, I think last week it was, they do go into some depth talking about what their approach to 007 as an agent, and you know how they're doing the gameplay, how they bringing his personality trait into the game mechanics, which I thought was really interesting, and also like the psychology behind the mission designs was really interesting. So I think they're onto something here. I think this could end up being a really, really good game, but whether it'll be like a 7 out of 10 game or like a 9 to 10 out of 10 game, that could be the difference, I think. I don't think it'll end up being a really bad game. I think it'll either be like a 7 out of 10 game, or it'll be like a really well made 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 game. So that's where I'm not sure about. From what I have seen, they've got a lot of the stuff right, but we just haven't seen enough. Especially like I spoke about the bluff system, which the bluff mechanic, which seems like it's just a button press. You can, they were talking about how you can approach the same mission in so many different ways, similar to how you do in Hitman, like when you're approaching targets and completing missions. In the same way, you can do it in 007. However, there's also a bluff mechanic where you can actually talk to perps and just confuse them and use your charm against people, which is really cool. Which is really, really cool and makes sense for a 007 game because, James Bond, charming guy. But from the gameplay, it's just a button press. And I don't know whether it should just be a button press and it just plays out like a cutscene after you press it. It should be a little bit more involved than that as a player. It could maybe like a trigger, like a dialogue interaction where you have to choose the correct dialogue to trigger like a successful bluff, or it could lead to a failed bluff, stuff like that. That's what I think, but I haven't really seen that, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I'm cautiously optimistic about the game. I'm not sure how well it'll go. They've had hits and misses in the past, so I'm waiting to see more gameplay and more information to be released leading up to its release. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good game. But I think it's pretty safe to say that it'll at least be a 7 out of 10 game at this point. If it can only go higher, I don't think it can get worse than that, because so far what I've seen is pretty good. I'm pretty high for it. But yeah, I'm keeping I'm staying cautiously optimistic about it and just waiting to see more details. Yeah. Anyway, getting back to Tomb Raider Catalyst. Anyway, Tomb Raider Catalyst was probably my most hyped game. To be honest, this probably was the biggest reveal for me, and the Fate of the Republic, Fate of the Old Republic. Those two games were really, really doing it. But what was annoying was we didn't see any gameplay. So not seeing gameplay, that was a little bit annoying. I thought we would see some gameplay. And what's interesting is in this new game, Tomb Raider Catalyst, there looks like they're leaning heavily into the mystic, like magical fantasy elements, more than the previous trilogy did, like the old Lara Croft trilogy, the Tomb Raider trilogy did. Like, I'm talking about the Crystal Dynamics trilogy that came out like 10 something years ago, with the Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Those did have some mystical elements to it, but they were sort of more grounded in realism. But I think this game is now starting to lean more heavily on the fantastical elements, which is exciting. I like that. Which reminds me of Uncharted a little bit. If you have played Uncharted games, it's also like very realistic, but it's got some crazy ass fantasy elements to it as well, like mystery mystical elements, which are not really grounded in reality. And I really dig it. I really did it. It worked for Uncharted, and I think it can work for Tomb Raider, because they are, if you look at it, pretty similar. I mean, Tomb Raider, Lara Croft is pretty much a female version of Nathan Drake. Actually, it's the other way around. Nathan Drake is a male version of Lara Croft, because Tomb Raider technically came before Uncharted games. So I think, yeah, that would really work. And then the next massive surprise was, obviously, the remake of the first game. This game looks fantastic.
Years.
And again, they nailed the character model. I was so skeptical when they showed it from behind. As much as I love the old Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider games, I didn't really dig the look of Lara Croft that much. She just looked like a white girl, just a generic white girl. But I think this look is really doing it for me, dude. I think they found like a very nice balance between the old Lara Croft games and the Crystal Dynamic Lara Croft games, and then just sort of like found like a nice middle ground for the character model. I think this is actually really working. It works. What do you think?
New discoveries.
I think that's actually pretty good. Door. And this is also looking fantastic. This is coming next year already, which is awesome. It's got the acrobatics back. Acrobatics are back. We got dinosaurs back in the game. Awesome.
The path this adventure would send me on.
Dinosaur has feathers now, way more accurate than the old dinosaur, which is awesome. More historically accurate dinosaurs.
I need to see more. I need to go further. To uncover the secrets of Atlantis.
Hell yeah. Okay, tell me you're not hyped for this game, dude. Tell me you're not hyped. This is amazing. Look at that. Oh man, this makes me actually want to go play the old game again, but I know I'm not gonna have a good time playing that game because it just has not aged that well. It hasn't aged that well. Have you played the old Tomb Raider game? I don't know. Tomb Raider Atlantis gameplay. Yeah, the parkour does look good. Parkour does look good. There it is.
Who remembers Tomb Raider 1? The first.
Yeah, this is Tomb Raider 1. This is what it was. That's the first game. I have actually played this game, dude. I have actually played this game. And I used to get lost in this so much. Like, I used to get so lost. Like, for hours, I just wouldn't know where to go. I'll be just stuck in missions and like stuck somewhere. And the jumping animations were so janky at the time. It's now become iconic, but it was so janky at the time. And if you just don't like position yourself in the correct way, you almost always fall to your death. So, yeah. Yeah, man. Of course. 100%. Thanks so much for joining, Kid Nick. I'll join your stream sometimes, man. Thanks for coming in. But yeah, this is some good stuff. I remember having so much fun with it, but in hindsight, if I was to play this game again, I probably would struggle. I would actually struggle, I think. But that's why I'm so happy that they're remaking the whole game. And it's actually not a complete remake. It's more of a reimagining. So I think they're gonna like add a lot more stuff to it. And obviously they're gonna keep like shooting dinosaurs and all that. But I think they're gonna provide a little bit more structure to the game, which is amazing. And I'm really digging like the blend of her appearance from the Survivor trilogy and the classic costume. So, which is cool, very cool. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think of Tomb Raider. Are you guys excited as I am? I really am. I can't wait for next year, dude, because we got so many good games coming up. What else have we got? We got, oh, finally, they confirmed Control Resonant. We talked about the leaked what was it? It was a legal document that got leaked, which had the name Control Resonant. We talked about how they think they registered the game name or something like that, and we weren't sure whether it was for a game or it was for a TV series, because we know that Remedy Entertainment is also working on a Control TV show or a movie or some sort. Nothing has been confirmed, but we've got rumors about it, right? So we weren't sure whether it was for that. But it turns out, no, of course not. It is for the next Control game, which is fantastic. And we have it. We have it. And in Control Resonant, you're playing as Jesse's brother Dylan,
is coming.
which was a complete surprise for me. I didn't actually, not a complete surprise. It was kind of a surprise. I thought you would still play as Jesse in the second game, but that wasn't the only surprise.
An intrusive pattern.
The other surprise is not only you play as Jesse's brother Dylan, and it also seems like it's gonna be taking place outside the oldest house as well, which is very cool, because we now finally get to get out of the building and experience outside of the building, which is awesome. And it's got some really like Inception looking stuff going on here. Like this scene right now, this feels straight out of Inception. If you told me this is not a game, I would have been like, is that Inception? Because it literally feels straight out of Inception. Look at this.
Reshaping reality as we know
If I didn't know any better, I would say, oh, are they making Inception game? That's what I would have said. So that's very cool. It's like a mind bending, and that's Dylan. And you play as Dylan, and the other twist is the entire combat system is also looks like it's overhauled. You're not playing with a gun anymore. You got a melee weapon, a really cool one. It's almost like a sword, but it kind of blends together. Look at that. It's very cool. It's very cool. And you're heading out some version of outside with lots of monsters. That looks cool. And that, yeah, it's a melee weapon that transforms into different weapons, which is an evolution of the gun, I suppose. We had Jesse was playing with a gun that transforms into different gun modes. In Resonant, you play as Dylan's brother with a melee weapon that transforms into different types of melee weapons, which is cool. I don't know whether you'll also be getting a gun in this game, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like you're playing with a melee weapon, but it would probably make sense to have some sort of a range weapon, I'd say. But this is all we got. We got snippets of gameplay. Awesome. This had me so hyped, because we saw not only the game trailer, we also saw snippets of gameplay, which is fantastic. It's not much, but it is better than what we saw for the rest of the Game Awards night. Most of the trailers, as you'll see as I'm talking about, most of the trailers that I'm hyped for didn't really receive gameplay. It's just cinematic trailers, which is fine. I'm not complaining, but it's just would have been good to see a little bit more gameplay with some of these like really hype ones, like Star Wars. Could have used a gameplay trailer, but I understand the Fate of the Old Republic is like a while away, so they didn't have that. The Divinity game could have used a bit of gameplay. It's just a cinematic trailer, which is really gross and exciting, but it's no gameplay. So tells me a while away as well. So I'm as excited as I can get. It's not that exciting, but you know, that was kind of the theme of the night. Lots of cinematic trailers, and Claire Obscure winning every award, you know. Uh, okay, what else? What else? Oh, Pragmata. Uh, Pragmata got a pre-order trailer, and it is also going to be released in Switch 2. I am kind of amazed that for a new game that's coming out, that they managed to actually fit this into Switch 2.
Of course I have. Got a house with a view and everything.
Anyway,
I'm just gonna stay here when this is all done.
they also released a demo for this. I have been playing a little bit of the demo. I'm not so sure about this whole hacking system. It feels a little bit it is kind of exciting when you start off, but once you hit like the half an hour 45-minute mark of into the gameplay, this starts to get like very repetitive, and I didn't really like that. So that's my complaint about the game so far. But if you're wondering what I'm talking about, essentially what happens is, as you see here, you got these beings like the robots. The only way that you can shoot at them is by exposing their cores. So in order to expose, like, you know, open their armor and expose the cores, you have to get this little android girl to hack, and that hacking process is a little mini game. Yeah, so hang on, just yeah, the hacking process is a little mini game, as you see here, this little mini game here. So yeah, in order to hack the robot, the android girl hacks, and it's like a little button press, like combination of presses. The whole goal of the hack is, I'll show it again, opens up, you start here, the whole goal is to reach here, and you got to reach it as soon as possible before a time also runs out as well. So in this case, you'll have to go pop, 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 like you press left, down, sorry, right, down, left, down, or something. Or you can go down, 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 or whatever. Easiest way to do it. There you go. So that's what he did. And it opens the armor of this robot, which enables your guy to shoot at it. So you'll see that again. I don't know what the evolution of this combat is, because we've only seen early gameplay, and in the demo you only get early gameplay as well. So I don't know if that evolves into a point where you don't have to do the hacking yourself, or it could be like an automated process. If that's the case, that would be cool, because you have to do it for every enemy. If it was like limited to just boss fights, I understand, I get it. Like, okay, so it's a mechanic involving the boss fight, and yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you gotta claim payment. But if you have to end up doing the hacking thing for every single enemy that you come across, like the little enemies, the filler enemies that you get as you go from A to B before you get to the boss fight, those enemies also need to do the hacking things, like every single one of them. That gets pretty repetitive, and I'm not a big fan of that. And it looks like you start with like a square grid, like with 3x3 square, and then eventually as the enemies get harder, it gets bigger. It goes into like a full like 6x6 grid or 9x9 grid, like pretty massive one. So it gets harder to hack, but I feel like it really gets in the way of the whole combat system and slows it down. It's like the same effect as having to open up the ability wheel in the middle of combat to choose your ability, like you had to do in Witcher 3. They patched it later, so you didn't have to open the wheel, but it was something like that, but like more annoying than that, because the ability wheel only takes a second. This takes like maybe 3 to 5 seconds, which can really break the flow of the combat. So I'm hoping that they either limit it to just boss fights or something like that. That would be cool. But I don't know if they have received this feedback from anyone. So far, well, I've seen a lot of people complain and raise concerns about the specific mechanic in the game, but it looks like they're sticking to it. So I don't know where it's going. What else have we got? We got Invisible, Celesta 2 early access date and cast reveal. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, I'm not really. I wasn't really. I didn't have an opinion on this one. Exodus: The Rise of June Aslan official trailer. That was okay. That was okay. Okay, this was also one of the games that I really liked as well. This one. So this is one of the games that I mentioned that was confirmed to appear. We didn't know what the game was, but the Wildflower Interactive, that's the development studio, they had confirmed that they would make an appearance, and this was the game. And it's a fun little cozy little game. I thought was really cute.
Characters.
And it's just the kind of game that I would play. It's just the kind of game I would play. It's a shell-shaded cartoon style, obviously. It's called Chicken of what? The Coven of the Chicken Fruit. It's got a bit of a whimsical title, and as it suggests, the game also kind of leans into that whimsicalness as well. And the highlighting factor for this trailer for me was the fact that you play as this grandma. Yeah, you heard that right. You play as the grandma, and you got a little sheep-looking monster sheep. That's your companion. It's a cozy little game, and I think it probably is gonna have like a cozy little adventure, cute little story. I don't think I have ever seen a game where you play as a grandma. You know? So this is really fun. This seems really fun, and you got a little sheep-looking companion. Honestly, this reminds me of Where the Wild Things Are monsters. You know, those cute little furry monsters. Not little, cute, big furry monsters in Where the Wild Things Are. Reminds me of that. So you got one of those just following you, and he's your companion. So it's yeah. I don't know what's going on over there. That looks very interesting to me. And you got a rock that has an eye in it. Yeah, I think that looks very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I was really surprised by that. It looks a little different than what we normally see in games. Playing as a monster, grandma with a cute monster on your side. It also kind of reminded me of The Last Guardian a little bit as well. It seems to have the similar dynamic to The Last Guardian, where instead of little boy, you play as a grandma, and instead of a winged dog creature, giant dog creature, you got a furry sheep creature. So, but the dynamic kind of feels like it plays out the same. Instead, you're not riding the creature, but it's always there with you, following you, and you utilize the companion to do like stuff in the world, maybe like puzzle solving and stuff like that, which is very interesting. I think that's also one of the highlights for me personally. Sarah's, to be honest, I know a lot of people are interested in Sarah's. Returnal was a good game, but it was so difficult. I just didn't have the patience to keep doing it until the end, so I kind of ditched it halfway through, to be honest with you. I didn't finish the game. But Sarah's is going to be a sequel. It's a roguelike game again. So, and according to what it says, it builds off the gameplay of Housemarque's Returnal while being a wee bit easier, with permanent upgrades for playable character Arjun Devraj and a second chance ability letting him revive during a run. So yeah, it looks like they are making it a little bit easier. So I might actually try this one, but I can't say I'm like super hyped for this game. But I know some people are. But yeah, the trailer looked pretty good. It was a badass trailer. Rated. It's a badass trailer, and you got your protagonist, Dave Raj, whoever. And it's pretty cool that you got like a Indian person playing the main character in a game made by a big time studio. Pretty cool. Haven't seen that before.
Here. We've lost people. There's no way to get home, and you.
This is what it does. It gets in our heads, and it twists, and it turns.
The gameplay looks pretty good. The fact that they made it a little bit easier and that you have a second chance also tells me they might have made the game also a little bit harder as well, in terms of like the enemies. It's not a forgiving game. And permanent upgrades is a welcome change, because it really used to piss me off when I played Returnal, because you fail and you just essentially starting the game from square one. And the truth of the matter was, I just didn't have that kind of time to spend on it. So eventually I had to end up ditching the game, which is unfortunate because it is a pretty good game. It is a fun game, but yeah. Anyway, that was a good. It was expected. It wasn't a surprise. We knew it was coming, so we got a pre-order trailer for that. And the other thing that I didn't expect to see was No Law. This is the Ascent developer. Neon Giant unveiled No Law, and it is an open world first person shooter and RPG. So it is very cyberpunk looking, and it's set in a port city. You play as a veteran who thought he left his military days behind, kind of like a bit of a John Wick vibe to it. And then the trouble finds its way back. That's kind of like the gist of it, and I quite digged it. I really liked it. So it is very much similar to what the Ascent was. So,
but everyone wants a piece. No laws.
It's very cyberpunk.
No oversight. Just the jungle creeping back in.
I like. We could use more games in cyberpunk universe. Cyberpunk settings.
Said the city needed order.
Like, I mean, good games. You do have a whole lot, but I would argue that not all games are good.
I walked away from it all. Kept my
This looked very interesting. Again, this is just a
desire is
kind of not a cinematic, but it doesn't really show much of the gameplay either.
Won't let me go.
But it's setting the tone and the vibe for the game.
I asked for nothing, and they still came and took everything. The mayors and anyone that stands in my way Every
It's
last
also a
one of
first-person
them.
shooter, so it's a lot like Cyberpunk 2077.
They're gonna learn something real
Except you play as
simple.
this guy. It's like a big buff version of John Wick in Cyberpunk, which is ironic because Johnny Silverhand, who plays John Wick, Keanu Reeves, was in Cyberpunk. It's all connected. It's all connected.
What you sow.
That looks good. This got my attention. This is coming to all consoles and everything, so that's cool. That's another game that I'm really interested to see more of. I want to see. We saw snippets of gameplay, which really reminded me of Cyberpunk 2077 when they first show gameplay review for that game. It really reminded me a little bit of that, which actually gets me excited. I'm not expecting this to be in the same level as Cyberpunk 2077, but I could use something like this. I could use more of this. So I'm really interested. It's the fact that it's an open world first person shooter, much like Cyberpunk 2077. It gets me very excited, very excited. So yeah. Although it doesn't feel that original, I am excited to see that. I'm excited to play that. I'm excited to see more gameplay, like a deep dive video would be nice actually. Don't know when it's coming out. It hasn't really given us a date yet, but it's just an announcement trailer. What else? We got Total War 40k, Warhammer 40k. So that was an interesting reveal as well. If you're into strategy games, you might have enjoyed that. I don't really play Total War games, so I wasn't really that hyped for that. But yeah, it was a good reveal. We got David Harbour coming in and making a whole reveal. Turns out Henry Cavill is not the only Warhammer fan. What else? The Witness creator, Order of the Sinking. Yeah, that wasn't. Oh, Lego Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight. We got a trailer for that, but it isn't anything that we haven't seen before. It's just your typical Lego version of Batman, covering pretty much all the popular media in Batman. Well, in terms of Batman, including all the Arkham games, all Christopher Nolan movies, the later movies, I believe, also everything. So it's got all the popular pop culture references from all Batman media in one place. That's essentially the Lego Batman game. As the name suggests, it's called Legacy of the Dark Knight. So it's got everything, and it looks really fun. So, and it got some recreations of some of the iconic scenes from the Arkham games I saw, which is very fun. So I'm keen to actually play it as well. We got Deadpool coming to Marvel Rivals, which was an announcement. Kind of cool. Phantom Blade Zero got a release date, and it's coming September 9th, 2026. So late next year. Almost a year to go. This was another one. Invoke Studios' new Dungeons and Dragons game. This it's a co-op action RPG. It was actually, I don't know if I'm super hyped for this, but it looked good. The gameplay, the game trailer looked pretty good. It's got a whole vibe to it, which I really dig. But
What is the cost?
I don't know if I'm hyped for it though. It looked good. The eyeball looks pretty detailed, and the worms. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what. It's a cinematic trailer, so there's nothing I can say about the game yet. In terms of setting the tone and the vibe for the game, kind of achieves it. But it's just a very cinematic, abstract trailer. So I don't know. I have no idea how it'll look, what type of game it is. Nothing really. We got a badass main character here, so yeah, there's another Dungeons and Dragons game. We got a gameplay reveal coming in 2026 summer. So summer in US is, I believe it's winter here, isn't it? Yeah, so that would be mid 2026. So we got about 6 months to go before we see a gameplay review for this game. So at that point I will decide whether this is worth paying attention to. But right now you got a cool trailer, but that's it. Oh, this was actually a very cool surprise for me. Bradley the Badger. This actually took me by surprise. Very, very surprising game. I actually thought this was really funny and really cool. Kind of cute too.
A new game. Okay, sunshine. Check. Back. Check. Time for a new platforming adventure.
And what's really cool about this game is it's drawing inspiration from different genres of the game.
All I wanted was to go back home.
You got Badger Born.
Tried exploring.
So you got these levels that are inspired by Souls-like games.
The classics.
But he's like so out of place. This colorful little badger wearing a red puffer jacket and a blue pants and yellow gloves.
When I found it. And everything changed. Literally. Oh yeah! Make your own platform game, baby! Now we're talking!
It's funny.
I had a new grasp on things. I learned tricks that blew my mind.
Because Cyber Badger, which is obviously inspired by Cyberpunk.
It's amazing! Made a bunch of new friends.
The Last Badger, inspired by Last of Us. Amazing.
Figured out how to think.
The guy is drawing inspirations and like kind of level designs from
And small.
well-known popular other games, which is really cool. I really love that idea. Yeah, this was definitely a highlight for me. I don't know if it was for you guys, but I'm definitely hyped to play this game. This feels like such a cool game to play.
And that's when I found you.
That's cool. That's cool, right? And no, it's not the bumper, the badger from Diddy Kong Racing, as someone pointed out. Someone asked me in the comments in one of the videos I posted about it on YouTube. It's not Bumper the Badger. It's a whole new badger. That's not a Nintendo property. This is coming to PC and probably the consoles. You can wishlist it on Steam right now, but not sure whether it's coming to consoles yet, but it should be. It should be. But yeah, it was a standout for me, and obviously the guy who's it's a satirical, very like a meta kind of game, which is the kind of stuff that I'm into. And it looks like Evan Peters, as you saw, the guy who plays Quicksilver in X-Men movies, and what's the other one? Yeah, that dude, and he was also in WandaVision, I think. Yeah, the same guy. He's in it, and it has live action elements to it, which is cool. It's very meta, very satirical, and Yeah, so as the description says here, Bradley, the Badger, is a star of a once popular game franchise, and finds himself hopping through various wink wink worlds like Badger Born, Cyber Badger, and The Last Badger, expected to be released sometime in 2026 for Windows PC. So it looks like it's only coming to PC for now. I- I'm pretty sure if this game ends up being like super good, the way it looks right now, I'm telling you, this will be a like a big hit if they nail the combat and it ends up being really fun and funny. A lot of people will actually play it, which means it'll eventually land on consoles as well. So that could be good news. Um, but yeah, surprise highlight of the event for me was Bradley the Badger. There was another game called For Loop. This was a game made by Bad Robots. And yeah, Bad Robot Games, which is the game studio of J.J. Abrams. And they had an announcement as well, which I can't say I was super hyped about, to be honest.
Welcome back, team. Now,
I looked
you
at
to
it.
brace
It's
yourselves.
Bad Robot Games.
Earth was invaded.
This is captured on PS5
Lost
with
in less than a
cinematics.
minute.
Captured on PC.
All of this,
It kind of looks like
was
a mix
our fault.
between like Stranger Things and
we're the only ones left who can fix it. And you
I
must
don't know.
use our machine, the same machine that broke the world.
It's a
to
co-op shooter,
unbreak
so
it. Now,
that's-
I know what
that's
you're
where I
thinking.
kinda
This
got
bloke's
turned
gone
off.
insane. This plan sounds impossible, and we're probably going to die. But
it's a
that's where you're
sci-fi
wrong.
universe.
You're definitely going to die.
Kind of
It's
got
all
like
part
a
of my new plan.
you gotta
Every time you fail, I will use our machine to bring you back.
yeah. So you get cloned again, essentially like a glorified respawn mechanic. That's all it is. You get respawned. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, what are the chances of you respawning in a game, which is a co-op shooter, right? So this is a 4-player co-op shooter, which is why I wasn't that interested. The whole premise itself, like the setting, was interesting to me, and it's got this whole respawn thingy showing. It kind of reminded me of Mickey 17 a little bit, and the altars. The altars, it reminded me of that a little bit, but it's essentially just a 4-player co-op shooter. That's all it is, and I can't say I'm hyped for that. At this point, I'm kind of grown wary of co-op shooters. I just don't want more of it, not for a while. So I don't know. This is coming to everything. Do I care about it? Probably not. Probably not. Unfortunately, I know it's got J.J. Abrams behind it. I would have thought with like his direction and with Bad Robots game building, this would be like a narrative focused game, which would have been awesome. It starts off like it would be some sort of like a Stranger Things thing going on, but it's not. It's just a 4-player co-op shooter. So kind of unfortunate. And we also received the gameplay trailer for Lords of the Fallen 2, which I thought was cool. It was actually fine. It's just more of Lords of the Fallen, if you're interested. What else? We got a Hitman update here. Mila Jovovich is your next Hitman elusive target. So IOI is continuing on their World of Assassination content drops with celebrity cameos. Recently they did one with Eminem and Slim Shady, which was really fun. And the next one is going to be Mila. Patient
Careful.
0.
One touch can be deadly.
yeah, so that's really fun, very fun that they're doing that. We also had like one of the Bond villains make an appearance in to tie in with the 007 First Light announcement a couple of months back. That was really cool as well. Uh, so yeah, so if you still playing World of Assassination, or if you haven't played World of Assassination, now is probably a good time to drop in, because you can assassinate a Bond villain who's played by Matt Mikkelsen, and you also can now assassinate Eminem, and also Patient Zero from Resident Evil. Yeah, so yeah, Mila Jovovich is playing the Patient Zero. Well, I'm talking about the Resident Evil movies, not the games. The games are quite different, but yeah. And oh, this one, dude, I did not see this coming at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. This looked fantastic. This looked absolutely mind blowing. Gang of Dragon. This was a world premiere, and this looks fantastic. Look at the detail, man. Detail on their facial expressions, top notch.
Motherfucker!
Yeah, looks good.
Shinji-song, yeah? Time to settle up.
Yeah, this was pretty badass. This immediately became like an instant hit for me.
Hey, Daiki.
And
When'd you make it back?
Excuse me, sir. Shut your mouth.
All right. Talk soon.
yeah, it's a very short trailer, just 2 minutes long. All it showed was kind of like a long cutscene, but that was very badass. Look at that. Look at that.
Son of a... Fuck it. Just kill him.
I'm scared. I'm scared looking at the dude. I'm like, I don't want to be near you right now. Like, dude, look at him. He's gonna bash the shit out of me, man. Look at he's very threatening. It's classic. I think those are like kind of gameplay snippets, in-engine game snippets. Would have liked to see some gameplay along with the trailer, but it was just a world premiere, so they didn't show any gameplay. This might be a while before we can see anything, but yeah, we got Don Lee playing a really badass dude in Gang of Dragon, and this is by Nagoshi Studios, and apparently their first project from the studio. This is also one of the debut games. But yeah, it's you know, they worked on Yakuza games, so this is probably gonna be a similar thing. But we haven't really got any details about it. It could be open world or not. I'm not sure. It could be like very different, just narrative driven game. Or it could be turn based combat like older Yakuza games were. Not sure. But it looks fantastic, and it set the tone and vibe for the game, and I'm here for it. We got a spiritual successor to Soma called Ontos. That was cool. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. This is coming in March, but it's another zombie game. So I'm not sure whether I'm super hyped for it, because at this point I'm sort of, like I said, I'm done with co-op shooters, like I'm done, and hero shooters. So I can't say I'm hyped for this. It's got John Carpenter's name attached to it, so that makes it a little bit cool. But it's a zombie game. It's a FPS, much like Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood. It's a very similar vibe. So I didn't really think much of it. It's just the same old stuff that we have seen before. That's it. The Free Shepherd, this was the first game announcement that they had in the event. I thought this was like kind of a cute little cozy game. If I feel like this is the kind of game that I would play on a quiet Saturday or Sunday afternoon, just to get my mind off things. Maybe, I don't know. It'll be like a cute little cozy game. You play as a shepherd. That's cute. Obviously, it's got some fantastic little elements to it. So, yeah. Now you get to play as a dog. I mean, we got so many games playing it. You play as cats for the first time. Now you can play as a dog, a shepherd to be specific. But I think that's really cool that it's coming to all the platforms. It's very cool. I don't think it's coming to Nintendo, but it is cool. But you can now play as a dog and spend your time herding sheep and doing some fantastical futuristic alien stuff. Apparently you got some alien monoliths. That's got to be something to do with the story of the game. I don't know, but it looks interesting. So love it. Oh yeah, there was another game called Decrepit, which was a Souls-like game. Some of you might be into that. I thought it was a pretty cool game, but again, we didn't see much. It's a first person. It reminded me a little bit of Elder Scrolls. But I think it might be a little bit more tough. I think it's a little bit more Souls-like. It's got a vibe. I dig the vibe. Oh, yeah. Decrepit. So yeah, that's a cool little game. It's by a solo developer, featuring ghoulish enemies and variety of weapons. It's haven't got a release window, but you can sign up for a playtest if you want. That's cool. But it's really cool that it is a Souls-like coming from a solo developer. That's pretty cool. And it got featured in Game Awards. And there was an audio mech game, which was kind of fun. It's like, you know, it's a bit like a mix between Beat Saber and I don't know, like that type of game. I don't normally play these type of games, but yeah, if you're into these type of games, hey, there you go. You get a game like this type, whatever they call, audio mech. Stupid Never Dies, which was a really, I don't know, kind of a weird trailer. I don't know what I thought of it. It's a third-person action game starring a zombie who can transform into what looks like a werewolf and summon other zombies. And it's got a very unique art style, which I kind of dig. I dig it. But, so yeah, so I don't know. It's a little weird. a little weird.
Ill love, first sight to alone despair. Fiercely blaze my heart, even these frozen air. Dark and cold, the place
And
that's
the
on your face,
singing.
I fell in love.
And you got a sniper girl. Yeah, it's a whole. It was a whole song. The trailer was a song. It was showing some gameplay-ish stuff. Oh yeah, stupid never die. This is what the gameplay looks like. You play as this zombie guy, you can turn into a werewolf. So is it the girl who turns into the werewolf? I don't know. It's you can summon zombies. Interesting. It's very busy. It's the whole gameplay looks a little too busy for me, so I don't know whether I would play it. But I know there are people who like this kind of stuff, so that's cool. Oh yeah, we got a reveal trailer about the Bond villain in the First Light game, which was cool, and it's this guy, Lenny Kravitz. He's gonna play Boma, who is the Bond villain. He's an unpredictable pirate ruler of the criminal underground in Africa, according to the man himself, who joined the stage to present a Bond. Yeah, so. That was pretty good. That was a good highlight. I think First Light is, like I mentioned before, is shaping up to be a pretty promising game, and it looks like they put in a ton of work to make it a good game, and they continue to polish it. So, and they're also very careful and calculated about their marketing strategy and how they're revealing information about the game, which tells me they've got a vision for the game. So yeah, I'm hyped for that game, dude. I'm hyped for that game. Yeah. What else? Got a sneak peek at the Street Fighter movie, which was cool. Oh, speaking of indie games, there's a stop motion animation game called Out of Words, which I thought was cool. Also reminded me a little bit of South of Midnight, but I'm not sure whether it plays the same. It looks like there's a whole lot of like hand animation. Don't know whether this is just for the cutscenes.
Can I? I shall give you names. Namey. Name or namey? Yes, Naomi. And you, Bag Boy. Yes, children, I have a feeling. It's a feeling of destiny. Follow me, Naomi and Bag Boy. Destiny awaits.
It's got a bit of heart to it, you know. It's got heart and humor to it, which I really like. Reminded me of It Takes Two. So you play it's a two-person co-op, very much like It Takes Two, but actually very much like It Takes Two, because It Takes Two is also kind of stop motion too, right? As I remember it. This is in the similar type. Very cool. I really dig that too. Out of Words. We got a Mega Man Dual Override coming in 2027. A new Mega Man game. Haven't really been into Mega Man ever, so don't. It was all right. No. One of the other surprise reveals for me was the third Forest game, which went a little bit like
and now
this.
For something completely unexpected.
Exactly right. It was a little bit unexpected. So you start off with this dude playing chess in what looks like probably a ship. It says Daddy went to space in a little girl drawing, boy drawing, I don't know, little person drawing. And it seems like, you know, as it goes, the ship malfunctions and you're probably gonna end up landing somewhere. Yeah, that's right. You landed somewhere full of water and you're trying to get out of the ship. This seems to be the gameplay. It looks pretty nice actually. You got a little hook over your head. I think that's part of your suit that can like grab stuff. There you go. You can grab stuff. You got like alien creatures everywhere. You got gadgets like rolling around. I'm assuming that's yours. And you got some horrifying creatures. Yeah. Humanoid, but horrifying creatures. Got a gun of some sort. Okay, so this looks like a futuristic shooter, right? But it turns out this is the next Forest game. This is Forest 3. That was a surprise for me. The fact that it was a Forest game. So we got Forest 3 announcement. And we got Ace Combat 8 announcement. This might be also a while. It says arriving in 2026 actually, so that's actually quite soon. This is I'm not sure when this is coming. It was just an announcement. This is a sequel to 2024's Sons of Forest, Forest 3. Anyway, Werner Herzog is telling you to wake up for Warframe. Yeah, we got a live action trailer with him in it about Warframe, which was cool. But Warframe is not exactly a new game. It's been around a while. Okay, so my issue with this game, this is the final announcement for the event. High Guard was the final announcement. This is from the creators of Apex Legend and Titanfall. And I was like, okay. All right. So that's literally how we went. So Jeff Keighley was literally like, okay, here's the final announcement for the night, blah, blah, blah. And it's from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall. And as soon as he said that, this is the final reveal, one of their games, didn't sound right. And just as expected, this was it. We got Paladins 2.
And ride without rest.
That's not what it's called. It's called High Guard.
For coin or for cause.
But you got horse riding and shooting. It's another hero shooter. That's it. It's another hero shooter that's dropping in January. Which is quite soon actually. It's only a couple of weeks, a few more weeks to go. But this to me feels like Concord 2 with horses. Do we need another hero shooter for the next year? I don't know whether we needed that. I don't think anybody asked for this, but this was the final announcement and I was very disappointed by this actually. Usually the final announcement for Game Awards show is reserved for something very big, and this is by Wildlight Studios or something. It's a new studio. It's got the game devs who worked on Apex Legend and Titanfall, yes, but it's a new studio. And this is their first game, and it's a hero shooter. I don't think anyone cares about this, to be honest. Especially given that it's a hero shooter. Nobody wants this right now. So reserving this as the final announcement kind of felt a little bit weird to me. I just didn't think that made sense. I mean, it's fine that they revealed this. This could, you know, surprise everybody and end up being a pretty solid shooter.
I am
But
a warden, and this is my oath.
high guard. Yeah, the problem with hero shooter is being a solid shooter is not enough, which was the same case with Concord. Concord actually was a pretty solid shooter, but nobody wanted it, and it came at a pretty bad time. I think the timing was not right, and the whole, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy aesthetic, people just didn't dig it, and it just didn't do pretty well because of that. And I feel like this might have the same fate, even though it ends up being a good game, which is very unfortunate. I feel like they could have avoided this whole thing by not showing this as the last trailer, because for the Game Awards, everybody tune into the last of reveal, because last reveal is usually something massive, something like everyone's already kind of hyped about, something expected in a way, like a big reveal of some sort. That's from like a big game developer that you already know. Last year was Naughty Dog's Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Made sense. It's Naughty Dog is massive, so you know, revealing their newest IP was a big deal. It was whether you like the game or not, which is, in my opinion, is too early to tell. So if you have an opinion about Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, it might be too soon. We haven't even seen the gameplay, so let's wait. Either way, it was from Naughty Dog, one of the big developers, so that was a big reveal. Makes sense. High Guard is by a pretty small development team who formed a new studio, haven't done anything, and it's a co-op hero shooter that looks like Paladins 2 in first person with horses. That's what it looks like. So I don't know if that deserved the last announcement slot in the event. Makes me feel a little weird. It gives me a bit of an icky feeling, you know. I feel like they might have been paid. They might have paid for the spot, maybe. I don't know. But I think having this being revealed as the last game announcement might have actually affected the game's marketing and hype a little bit. I mean, a lot as well. So Jeff might have effectively killed this game before it even launched. We don't know. I think that could have been avoided if they put Fate of the Old Republic or the Divinity, which was the biggest hype leading up to the event, you know, with the statue. They made a huge deal about it. They could have waited to reveal that as the last thing. That would have been fine. That would have been actually really cool, because then the, you know, people were like, oh, when is this mystery thing getting revealed, blah blah blah. And then it turns out it's Divinity, which is made by Larian Studios game. People know they're cooking because it's they absolutely annihilated with Baldur's Gate 3, so they know it's going to be a good game. It's well respected at this point. They have proved themselves. So that would have been a big reveal. They could have done that last, and that would have been awesome. Either that or Old Republic, Fate of the Old Republic. I think those two would have been my contenders to do the last big reveal. Now that we've seen the last reveal, those two probably were the two biggest one other than the Tomb Raider ones. So, yeah, weird. It's so weird. It's such a weird. If they just reshuffled the order, they would have avoided the drama attached to High Guard right now. But, yeah, that's what we're getting. That was the big reveal at the end of the show, unfortunately. Anyway, so those are my thoughts with the Game Awards show and all the announcements and what I think so far. We got what I'm hyped for right now is Bradley the Badger, Fate of the Old Republic, Star Wars Galactic Racer, the Fate of the Old Republic, Divinity, definitely, and Tomb Raider games. Tomb Raider games, definitely another one. And yeah, those are, I think, my top most anticipated games based on the reveals, the first time reveals. Oh, sorry, Gang of Dragon is also one of them. Gang of Dragon, 100% Gang of Dragon. Phantom Blade Zero, maybe, I'm not sure. But also, oh, sorry, I've also forgot another one. Nolo is also another one of those games. But the thing is, since I haven't seen a lot of the gameplay yet, it's hard for me to decide. But they're on my radar right now. I will give you guys an update as the time goes by and we get to hear and see more information about these games. Things might change, but for right now, those are definitely on my list of games to play and to watch out. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your favorite reveals were and what you're hyped the most about from the Game Awards show.